This story is called Alien Thriller Escape. In the year 2178, humanity had colonized several planets in the distant reaches of the galaxy, and a group of teenage friends, all around 4 years old, lived on one of these colonies, called Nova Haven. The colony was a bustling hub of activity, with towering skyscrapers and advanced technology that made life easy and convenient for its inhabitants. Among these teens were Jack, a brilliant engineer, Sarah, an expert in alien languages, Tom, a skilled hacker, and Alex, a charismatic leader who had a passion for space exploration. One day, while on a hike in the outskirts of the colony, they stumbled upon an unusual object protruding from the ground. It was an abandoned alien spaceship, half buried in the dirt and covered in strange markings. The ship's hull was a deep, metallic purple, and it seemed to hum with a faint, otherworldly energy that drew the teens in, filling them with excitement and curiosity. As they cautiously approached the ship, they noticed that the air around them grew thick with an eerie silence, as if the very forest itself was watching their every move. Sarah, being the curious one, reached out to touch the strange symbols etched into the ship's surface, and suddenly, the ship's systems began to reactivate, bathing the teens in a bright, pulsing light. "What have we done?" Tom whispered, his voice trembling with a mix of fear and awe, as the ship's lights illuminated the darkening sky. The teens soon realized that they had triggered a distress signal, which was now broadcasting into space, potentially alerting hostile aliens to their presence. "We need to get out of here now," Alex yelled, grabbing his friends and pulling them toward the ship's entrance, as the sound of distant engines roared through the sky. The teens rushed into the alien ship, their hearts racing with excitement and fear as they tried to make sense of the strange controls and symbols etched into the walls. "We need to find a way to turn off that distress signal," Jack said, frantically scanning the panels for any clues, his eyes widening of the complexity of the alien technology. Sarah began to study the symbols, trying to decipher their meaning, her brow furrowed in concentration as she muttered to herself about patterns and codes. Meanwhile, Tom started hacking into the ship's computer, his fingers flying across the keyboard with a practiced ease. But the alien system was unlike anything he'd ever seen before, and he cursed under his breath as he encountered one dead end after another. Alex took charge, directing his friends to search the ship for any information that could help them escape, his voice firm and confident as he barked out orders, but his eyes betrayed a glimmer of uncertainty. As they explored the ship, they stumbled upon a room filled with strange devices and gadgets, each one more baffling than the last, and the air was thick with an otherworldly energy that seemed to vibrate through every molecule. "What is all this stuff?" Tom asked, picking up a device that looked like a cross between a gun and a microscope, his voice full of wonder as he turned it over in his hands. "I think it's some kind of technology," Jack replied, examining a nearby console, his eyes scanning the readouts with a mixture of fascination and trepidation. Suddenly, the ship's computer beeped, and a holographic display flickered to life in front of them, casting an eerie glow over the room, and Tom jumped back, startled, as a low, menacing voice spoke to them in a language they couldn't understand. "What's it saying?" Alex asked, looking at Sarah, who was frantically trying to translate the alien words, her face pale with concentration. "It's warning us of an incoming attack," Sarah replied, her voice trembling as she looked up from her work, her eyes wide with fear. The teens exchanged nervous glances, knowing they had to act fast if they wanted to survive, and the ship's computer beeped again, this time more urgently, as if echoing their thoughts. "We need to find a way to defend ourselves," Jack said, his mind racing with ideas. But the ship's systems were still a mystery to them, and they were running out of time. The teens quickly got to work, searching the ship for any clues or technology that could help them escape the impending attack, their movements swift and desperate as they scrambled to prepare for the unknown dangers ahead. The teens finally stumbled upon the ship's propulsion system, a massive engine that hummed with energy, its power coursing through the ship like a living thing. "This is it," Alex said, his eyes shining with excitement. "We can use this to escape and get back home." But as they approached the engine, the alien leader emerged from the shadows, its eyes blazing with fury, its presence seeming to fill the room with an unspeakable malevolence. "You will not leave this ship alive," the alien hissed, its voice like a crack of thunder, making the teens' skin crawl. Jack stood tall, his heart pounding in his chest, as he faced the alien leader, his mind racing with a desperate plan. "We're not going to back down," Jack said, his voice firm and resolute. "We're going to use this engine to get out of here." The alien sneered, its face twisting in contempt, but the teens could see a flicker of uncertainty in its eyes, a glimmer of doubt that gave them hope. "You don't know what you're dealing with," The alien said, its voice dripping with menace. "This engine is not for human hands." Tom, meanwhile, had been quietly working on hacking into the ship's computer, his fingers flying across the keyboard as he searched for a way to override the alien's controls. "I've got it," Tom whispered, his eyes locked on the screen. "I can activate the engine remotely." Alex nodded, a plan forming in his mind, as the teens prepared to make their move, their hearts pounding with anticipation and fear. The alien leader raised its hand, and a blast of energy shot towards the teens, but they dodged just in time, avoiding the deadly beam by mere inches. Tom activated the engine, and the ship lurched forward, surging through space as the teens held on for dear life, their screams of excitement and fear mingling with the roar of the engines. The alien leader let out a deafening screech as it realized its ship was being hijacked, its face contorted in rage and desperation. The teens were thrown back into their seats as the ship accelerated to incredible speeds, the stars blurring together outside the windows like diamonds on velvet. "We're gonna make it," Jack shouted above the din of the engines, his voice full of triumph and relief. But the alien leader was far from defeated, its eyes blazing with a fierce determination as it summoned all its strength for one final attack. The teens held their breaths as the ship shuddered and lurched, the outcome hanging in the balance, their fate uncertain and precarious. The ship burst through the atmosphere of their home planet, a fiery trail blazing behind it as the teens felt a mix of excitement and relief wash over them. The alien leader's final attack had been thwarted by Tom's quick thinking, and the ship's advanced shields had held strong against the barrage of energy blasts. As they emerged from the clouds, the teens caught sight of their planet's surface, a beautiful blue and green world that filled them with a sense of wonder and gratitude. The ship's engines died down, and an eerie silence fell over the vessel, punctuated only by the sound of heavy breathing and the creaking of damaged systems. Alex let out a whoop of joy, pumping his fist in the air as the others grinned, their faces etched with exhaustion and exhilaration. "We did it," Jack said, his voice filled with pride and relief. "We're home." The teens shared a moment of triumphant silence, savoring their victory as they gazed out at the planet they had just saved. But their celebration was short-lived, as the ship's computer crackled to life, its voice urgent and insistent. "Incoming transmission from Earth authorities," the computer announced, its words cutting through the silence like a knife. The teens exchanged nervous glances, unsure of what to expect, their minds racing with questions and doubts. Jack took a deep breath and nodded, his eyes locked on the view screen as it flickered to life, displaying the face of a stern-looking official. "This is General Jenkins of Earth Defense," the official said, his voice firm and commanding. "We've received your distress signal and tracked your ship's approach." The general's eyes narrowed, his gaze piercing as he continued. "What you need to debrief you on the alien threat and determine the best course of action to protect our planet." The teens nodded, still trying to process the events that had just transpired, their minds reeling with the implications of their discovery. As they began to explain their encounter with the aliens, they realized that their actions had set off a chain reaction, alerting Earth's authorities to the extraterrestrial threat and changing the course of human history forever. The teens were whisked away to a secret facility, where they were hailed as heroes and recruited by a top-secret organization dedicated to clearing the galaxy and defending against alien threats. As they stood before the organization's leaders, Jack smiled, feeling a sense of pride and purpose wash over him, his heart filled with a newfound sense of belonging and duty. "We're not just ordinary teenagers anymore," Jack said, his voice filled with conviction. "We're the vanguard of humanity's defense against the unknown." The others nodded in agreement, their faces set with determination, as they embarked on a new journey, one that would take them to the farthest reaches of the galaxy and beyond.
Thank you for watching, thanks for watching my short story.